There's a fight over the weekend. I was able to watch it in the green room. I saw the Johnny Walker knockout against Roundtree, which was filthy. That kid's gonna be a real problem. Big kid, huh? Big light heavyweight.
Tall, yeah.
Tall. Threw some amazing elbows. Looks good. There's a ton of potential there. And then obviously in the main event, one thing about Neil Magny, he's just a slow starter. He's always been a slow starter. If you look at his fights like against Kelvin Gastelum, it always takes him a while to get the motor going. It never got going though. You always think, he can ride it out. If you are going to have that game plan, and I'd like to talk to, Chris Down, Elliot Marshall, and Cody Donovan, who are my boys. If you have the game plan to try to make the guy tired, even if he's a power puncher and he's going to come out looking for the knockout, and your plan is to drag him into late rounds, you got to make him work. You got to make him have a high volume output through 1 through 3, and then 4 or 5 you can turn it on. He didn't make him work. He was on his back foot riding the cage. He got clipped. I think said he got hit in the eye. He was seeing double. There wasn't a lot of takedown attempts. It was just a one-sided freaking smashing for Ponzinibbio. He absolutely destroyed Neil Magny. And then with Ponzinibbio, you look at the guy's record, you look how composed he is. Neil Magny is ranked, I think, number 6 in the world, at welterweight. So Ponzinibbio's due for a big-ass fight.
8. I don't know if this is updated, but
that's no way that's updated because Neil's 8, Ponzinibbio there is 10, 8, 10. You got to give that kid a big fight, a really big fight. But freaking welterweight, man, is filthy right now.
Yeah,
filthy. Outside that, though, decent card. This weekend, you got a fight night, or I should say fight day on UFC Fight Pass with Francis Ngannou versus Curtis Blades, which is a rematch. It's Curtis Blades' only loss in the UFC, and it was stopped via to cut. So, other than that, he's been doing his thing. You're talking about, it's a weird fight. I think they're doing this fight to validate Curtis Blades to get a title shot, because people are like, well, he lost to Francis. Francis got a title shot. He got destroyed. How can you give Curtis? So I think they're doing it like, let's get this blemish off your record. I don't know why Francis Ngannou would take this fight, especially if you're coming off the worst performance of your career. Before that, it was not a good fight against Stipe. Dana has commented on his ego and how he needs to revamp and recircle and kind of hone in and his skills and stuff like that. And then you give him probably the best wrestler in the top 5. And if there's one, chink in Francis' armor besides his cardio, would be his wrestling, especially his takedown defense. So you give him Curtis Blades, who's just been fucking wrecking dudes like Alistair Overeem, Mark Hunt. I mean, mollywopping him. Not even fights. Completely destroying him. The close one, Mark Hunt, he ate some shots, but that fight against Alistair Overeem was not a competition for that dude. And then, so you give him Francis Ngannou, doesn't make a lot of sense to me. Unless you're just not a Francis fan. Which, they said there's some ego things there, and some of the stuff that he said to Dana to get his private jet and stuff like that.
Whoa.
Yeah, so that's the only thing I think of. That'd be the reason why he tossed him Curtis Blades. And then Curtis after this, because of the Brock Lesnar DC stuff and all that, I would assume Curtis Blades, if he were to get through this, which I think he will in flying colors, if he were to get through this, he gets Stipe next. Then the winner of that gets the next title shot. It's just delaying time until DC and Brock Lesnar get figured out. Yeah, not a great fight for him, if you're Francis. It makes no sense. You want to talk about mishandling. Jesus Christ. And then his fight against Big Black Beast, probably the worst heavyweight fight of all time.
Yeah.
Because the anticipation of these knockouts, and it was just a terrible fight.
Chuck versus Tito 3 happened, and I will tell you, and I don't take any pleasure whatsoever in the fact that that show bombed, but I was just the opposite, in fact. I never treated this like a joke to start with. I understood this wasn't going to be a fantastic athletic competition, but I think there was still something special there. And I also thought, and mainly because of Chuck, but I did think that Chuck's honesty and coming out and saying, this is a cash grab. I wasn't planning to fight again. And now some things in my life have changed, and this is what I'm going to go out and do. Man, I'm behind that. He was going to get my $50. I will tell you from the bottom of my heart, I sat down. I ordered food. I had drinks. I had the whole night cleared. I searched the television on Saturday. I could not find the channel that it was on. I did every possible search you could do. I have one of these remotes you speak in. I spoke into the remote. I went to the actual search. I typed it in. I typed out every way I could think. Golden Boy, nothing came. Tito versus Chuck, nothing came. Chuck versus Tito. It absolutely did not come up on my television set. So, all right, I made some calls, called it. Nobody else was watching it. So I wait till the next day. I didn't see the media covering it. The only thing that I saw the media say was, like the pay-per-view had been slashed, or there was a Black Friday sale or something along these lines, and which I thought was rude. I thought that was their way of trying to embarrass these guys who were going out and just trying to have their match, right? So I would love to tell you guys how the Chuck Tito fight went. I don't know. I just finished practice. I asked a number of guys here if they saw it. Nobody had seen it. I was told that it went, one guy said it went exactly the way you thought it would go. Well, what's that? Because if you want to know how I thought it would go, I thought Tito was going to get him. I thought Tito would come out, and if they matched skill versus skill, that Tito would be able to beat him. I don't know if it was ever going to come down to skill versus skill, or if it was just going to be mind versus mind, because Tito did have some mental deficits against Chuck. That's what happens, when you got the older guy in the practice room. So, at any rate, if any of you saw the fight, let me know who won.